Plumbers do real work, my father said, swirling my Bordeaux with grease-darkened fingers. You just rented this jet to play pilot. I stood across the cabin, shoulders squared, swallowing a humiliation sharper than anything I had faced in combat. General Malcolm Reed, my most important passenger, watched from the opposite seat. My father, Victor Hale, mistook the general's silence for agreement. He had been dismissing me all week. At the Veterans Hall, he introduced me as his daughter, who pressed buttons in the sky. At dinner, when I mentioned my company's new organ transport contract, he pointed his knife at me and praised a neighborhood plumber instead. Real workers get dirty, he said. Your hands are too clean. That night, I found my childhood model airplanes crushed inside a box labeled Old Toys. My service medal lay beneath dead batteries in a desk drawer, stained by coffee. I placed it carefully on the desk and understood something final. I could not force him to value me. Truth would have to arrive without permission. The next morning, Victor drove me to the airport in his rusting truck, complaining about my clothes, my education, and my expensive hobbies. On the ramp stood my company's newest aircraft, a silver and navy Learjet purchased for $13 million. He knocked on its fuselage, then kicked the landing strut. Plastic toy, he muttered. My co-pilot descended the stairs and saluted. Good morning, Major Hale. Victor laughed. You hired him to say that? 3 black vehicles rolled onto the tarmac. General Reed emerged with his security detail. I saluted. He returned it warmly. Victor pushed forward and seized the general's hand, smearing grease across his cuff. Watch her up there. She lost her bicycle key when she was 12. No one laughed. As we climbed toward cruise altitude, Victor discovered the wine cabinet. Within minutes, he was sprawled across the leather seat, spilling Bordeaux, and lecturing General Reed about honest labor. She's useless without computers, he said. This whole thing is rented theater. I transferred control to my co-pilot and entered the cabin. Victor grinned at me over the rim of his glass. General Reed slammed his briefing folder onto the table. You are wrong, Mr. Hale, he said. Your daughter did not rent this aircraft. She bought it. She founded this company, employs 50 people, and served with distinction in combat logistics. Victor's smile vanished. The general stepped closer. She is also my employer. I advise her operations division. That means the woman you keep insulting signs my paycheck. The glass slipped from my father's hand and shattered across the carpet. Red wine spread beneath his boots. I said nothing. I returned to the cockpit and flew us to Norfolk. When the cabin door opened, a little girl in a winter coat ran across the ramp. Captain Evelyn! I knelt as she threw her arms around me. She handed me a crayon picture of a brown-haired pilot beside an airplane. Across the top, in uneven letters, she had written, My hero. Her mother stood behind her, crying. General Reed faced my father. This is Sophie. Last week, a hurricane grounded every medical flight on the coast. A donor heart had 4 hours to reach her. Evelyn flew through the storm alone, delivered it, then canceled the $40,000 invoice. Victor stared at Sophie, then at my clean hands. His knees struck the concrete. I didn't know, he whispered, covering his face. God, Evelyn, I didn't know. For once, I did not rescue him from the consequences. I let him understand them. 2 weeks later, he appeared at my office wearing a pressed shirt and carrying a resume. He asked for work, not forgiveness. I hired him as ground security manager. He arrived early, inspected every cargo seal, memorized every tail number, and treated my crew with fierce respect. Change did not erase the past, but each disciplined day proved his apology had weight. One Friday, he drove me back to the Veterans Hall. The same men looked up from the same sticky booth. Victor planted both hands on their table. This is Major Evelyn Hale, he announced. Air Force veteran, founder of Hale Strategic Air, and my boss. She saves lives. Anyone who mocks her answers to me. No one laughed. Outside, beneath the frozen parking lot lights, he handed me a clear resin block. Suspended inside was a shard from the wine glass he had broken aboard my jet. Carved into the base were 7 words: "When pride shatters, love has room to rise." "My hands built many things," he said, voice trembling, "but you are the finest thing I ever helped create." I traced the rough letters, then stepped into his arms. He smelled faintly of machine oil, but his hands were gentle now. For the first time, they were not trying to make me smaller. They were simply holding on. The next morning, he returned my repaired models and mounted my medal in his workshop beneath a handwritten sign: "Real work saves lives." I never forgot the damage, but I finally believed the future could be built differently together.